What's up, guys? Welcome to After the Whistle. This is Jared. Today is Friday, January 22nd. Today, we're going to be talking about some big hot news taking place over the last couple days in the sports world. Be going over a couple of the games that took place, along with making some projections for games that are happening tonight when we're recording this. So we're just going to jump straight into some of the big news that's circulating over the last couple days in sports media and just popular media. Start off by talking about the New York Mets. They recently had signed on a new GM, Jared Portner, a few weeks back. But he was just released, I believe, yesterday due to circulation of some explicit images that circulated apparently back in 2017. He was kind of being a little creeper and was trying to text this reporter person. Like, I think I heard like something like, no, it's creepy, man. Dude's a total creeper. He sent her like 62 messages and she didn't respond. So I guess
Was
to
he sending
him,
nudes?
so he had just sent 62 like just messages and she never responded. So I guess he took that as, okay, well, I need to get her attention. So he sent her pictures of his pee-pee.
I mean, that's one way to get somebody's attention, but okay.
But yeah, and in no case does that really like girls don't want to see that. Like that's not what you. That's no.
She just sent
The MLB
a
is
dick pic.
getting a little bit the MLB is really going downhill, dude. Straight up. Like, I think last year there was like an announcer. I don't know. It might have been from the Mets also. It was either from the Mets or it was the Cincinnati Reds. And they fired their announcer because of some type of slur. I don't remember if it was like a racial slur or like a homophobic slur. But there's been a lot of issues like in the MLB like front offices lately. Um, but yeah. One of the big things I saw, probably one of the biggest things in football news in the last couple days, is the Ravens releasing Mark Ingram, their running back. This is going to give the Ravens about $5 million more in cap space for the offseason. So I think in reality it's a pretty decent move by the Ravens. They've got J.K. Dobbins, so I think J.K. Dobbins I think that's the reason why they let go of Mark Ingram, was to open up a little bit of space and lean more on J.K. So yeah, it was pretty good stuff. So I don't really listen to this dude's music, but apparently NBA young boy had his 7th kid. This dude's 21 and has 7 kids.
Just
Like,
popping them out.
I don't think this dude knows how to like pull out of his own driveway.
I mean, I'm not giving him the excuse, but when you got money like that, I guess he just don't really care.
Yeah, but even if I had money, I mean, that's 7 kids with obviously different people. Like, I wouldn't want to be paying child support for all that stuff. Like, I don't care if I've got money.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we just don't think alike. Or not we, him and
Well,
us.
him
'Cause,
and us. Well, yeah, I
yeah,
know. I don't know. It's just weird. I mean, unless he likes having kids, but I mean, to me, it just sounds like this dude don't know how to pool. But what makes this what makes this news a little bit more sports related is it's with Floyd Mayweather's daughter. This dude's just trying to get knocked out. I would not be going around doing stuff with Floyd Mayweather's daughter.
you know what?
But I mean,
Somebody told me though that it makes a lot of sense when it comes to fighters and stuff. I mean, I'm not for it, but I mean, Floyd Mayweather can't knock out a bullet. So I mean, if Floyd Mayweather tried to
yeah,
really do
true.
something,
That's a good point. This man, yeah, it's a good point. I didn't think about that. So yeah. In other news, Fortnite. Let's jump into esports real quick. They announced that their cash pool for their championship series, which is like obviously the tournament of all the like top Fortnite players, is going to be $20 million this year.
Sheesh, 20 million. How did they
Yeah.
even get that money? Like, who sponsored them? Like, what?
Yeah,
Whoa,
I
20
don't know.
million.
I mean, between that and all the money that they make off of people buying battle
Sheesh.
passes and skins, I mean, I'm sure it's a pretty profitable thing. See, in my mind, I mean, at least I did. I feel like Fortnite died out some, but I mean, obviously, you still got those big people. You got all the kids that still play it.
Fortnite did not die out. My little brother still loves that game. One of the world kids love that
But
game. 20
I mean, like
million?
even last year was big, but I mean, $20 million. This thing is apparently just growing even more.
Sheesh. I need to tell him he need to start training, getting better.
For
That's
real.
what?
It's like I remember back in our day, like when we were kids, we were dreaming about like what we were gonna be when we grew up, and it was like obviously a lot of us would. I feel like if I was a kid, it's just crazy to think like these kids nowadays literally can dream of playing video games and being richer than like 90% of the world.
Yeah, I know. 20 million just from that. That's something.
Yeah, for real.
Dang. I'm about to start practicing Fortnite, dude. I'm gonna win that 20 million.
Um, but yeah, I was thinking about getting back on Fortnite, but obviously, yeah, that's just ridiculous.
Only thing I don't like about Fortnite now, though, is like kids are so freaking good at that game. I can't. I every time I play, I can't keep up with kids, dude. I mean, I can shoot. I just can't build. That's my weakness right there. And they be doing all that super building and all that extra stuff. So that's why I gave up on Fortnite.
Yeah, honestly, it's a fun game though. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't been on in a while, so I'm sure there's been some changes. Uh,
I think they got sharks now.
I think that happened a while ago.
Oh, and I think
Um,
every car you can drive now.
oh really? That's
Yeah.
cool. Little news. So obviously you know about the whole Delonte West situation. Dude went from the NBA to becoming some homeless drug addict. A couple months ago, it circulated that like what's his
Mark
name?
Cuban.
Mark Cuban was helping him out. Obviously, Mark Cuban, star of Shark Tank and also the owner of the Dallas Mavericks. He helped him out, got him into a rehab facility, and now Delonte West has gotten a job actually at that rehab facility and gotten reconnected with I think his mom and stuff. So that's really really good to see. I mean, obviously, I don't want to see anybody dealing with
Dang,
that,
that's cool.
but
I seen a video. I think Mark Cuban and him, they was like on horses together, and he looked so
yeah, no,
happy.
I really like Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban's a really cool dude. I mean, obviously from a viewer standpoint, I don't actually know him, but he seems like a really cool dude. It's really nice to see like somebody like him helping out Delonte West. Okay. In other news, currently Deshaun Watson is probably one of the biggest people currently looking for a new home. And currently, as it sits, according to most major sporting sources, the most likely team to land Deshaun Watson is going to be the Carolina Panthers. As a Panthers fan, I don't really know how I feel about this. In one hand, it's like it depends, like what we have to give up. There was another thing that came out actually yesterday that was talking about his value, like a team of NFL like evaluators like evaluated that he was worth like at least like 3 first round draft picks and another like decent high pick or something like that. But I think in order to do that, we'd have to give up some pieces, including Christian McCaffrey. And on one hand, obviously, I don't want to see Christian McCaffrey go, but I think that a running back is more easy to replace than a quarterback.
What I would do if I was the Panthers, because this just popped in my head like literally now, I wouldn't trade for Deshaun Watson, and I would risk it on what's his name, Dak Prescott, because I know that he got injured. Didn't he like break his leg or something?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about Dak Prescott. I didn't even, to be honest, I didn't even know that Dak Prescott was on the market.
No,
I
I
guess
just
just
know that
because.
the Cowboys, they didn't offer him a deal during the offseason. They couldn't come to an agreement last offseason. So him breaking his leg, I'm not sure if they're gonna offer him a deal now because he's hurt. So that's what I would do if I was the Panthers. I'd just risk it, see if Dak Prescott could be that guy when he come back and steal him from the Cowboys, because I feel like the Cowboys not gonna offer him a big deal since he hurt. But
Yeah.
that's just
No,
my
I think.
opinion.
See, this is where I stand with it. It's like I said. I think that I'd be willing to give up Christian McCaffrey for Deshaun Watson. I guess it just depends on what else we'd have to do, or like if we had to do something else other than that. And even though, like, I think the concept of Deshaun Watson over Christian McCaffrey sounds good, the issue with the Panthers, their biggest issue is their O-line. And until we get a better O-line, I don't think it matters who the quarterback is. So that's something that if they are going to go for Deshaun Watson and give up that stuff, they also need to try to figure out ways to improve that O-line.
Yeah.
Because if not, then you're just wasting it. I tried the backup Teddy Bridgewater this year. I really did. I said that people were sleeping on him, but yeah, no, we got to get rid of Teddy Bridgewater. I'm still upset about how much money we spent on. Even when I was backing him up, I was just like, yeah, we put way too much money into Teddy Bridgewater. Backing it up, I have to take my accountability to something that I said on the last podcast. On the last podcast, I made the statement that I thought that the Warriors were donezo because they were currently down by 19 points at the time when I made that statement. They ended up coming back and winning that game. So I'm gonna take my accountability on that one. They showed up, and I think that they've proven that they're still the GOAT team. The Golden State Warriors, they're gonna win the championship this year. You heard it here first. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I was about to say,
I was going off of what you said. Yeah, I was going off of what you said because you were talking about how they were going to be back. But no, I was just.
I don't think this year, next year.
No, I know. But no, that was a little bit of an overreaction. But good for them on that 19-point comeback.
Steph hit this mean step back on AD.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it, but that thing was nice.
I definitely. It's like I said. That's another thing I said the other night was I do believe that Steph might win MVP if he continues doing this type of stuff. But we'll actually get to that in a little bit. There's actually something I want that actually involves that discussion.
With the MVP?
With the MVP. Just the overall awards. We're going to talk about the awards. Like the early projections and stuff like that.
Because I got a new person actually that
okay, we'll get to that. So of all people, Karl Malone apparently called out Zion and had told him that he needs to at least average 40 points a game. That he's too young, that he shouldn't basically be sitting on his ass, and that he should be basically playing almost the entire game.
I don't know why Karl Malone would say that. Karl Malone never did that himself.
Exactly. That's
in the
point.
world.
Karl Malone played like 30 minutes, and I guess maybe he's counting in like the 10 or 12 minutes that he spent with all like the 13-year-old girls that he was with, but
sheesh. Yeah, I'm looking at his minutes per game. He averaged 37 minutes, which I mean that's decent minutes, but to expect Zion to play 50, I mean it's not even 50 in a game. If they go into OT every game,
not 50, 40.
Oh, 44. I was about to say,
but I mean that's still a lot. I mean, still
yeah,
40.
Still
that's like that's only 2 minutes of rest in each quarter.
That's actually
not to say that Zion's not capable. I mean, he's young, but I mean Zion's a little bit of a bigger dude. You're not even then. I mean,
I'm looking at Karl
even
Malone.
Some more fit people aren't playing those types of minutes.
Karl Malone, his whole career, he only averaged 40 plus minutes a game for a season for 2 years.
Yeah, because of the wear and tear. That's what's so dumb that like people don't want to think about. It's like you've got to account for wear and tear. Like these big players, you want to see them put up big minutes, but if you play in them 40 minutes a game. They're only going to last like 2 seasons, and then they're going to sputter out.
I mean, Carmelo and Zion, their games is kind of different though. I mean, Carmelo, don't get me wrong, he was a beast, but I feel like Zion is way more athletic. So expecting Zion to play 40 minutes a game, like you said, that wear and tear is going to come back to haunt Zion in the future.
Exactly. You're not just spending those 40 minutes like standing there in the paint. We're moving around the entire time. But yeah, that's crazy. In other news, I keep saying in other news. I gotta come up with a better way to transition. There was a new switch in presidency yesterday. Another new old dude that's running our country. It's wonderful. But on Trump's last day, he decided to pardon like a crap ton of people, including Kodak Black and Lil Wayne. I don't know so much about Kodak Black, but I agree with the Lil Wayne thing. See, maybe you can help me out with this, because I'm sure you probably know more about this, because I don't know much about stuff that took place in the rap game way back when. But I think Lil Wayne got arrested on a charge because he was carrying around a gun, and he's not allowed to have a gun on him due to something that took place back in the day.
Yeah,
There's
that's
some
what
reason
happened.
why he's not allowed to have guns. But the thing is that apparently he doesn't even, there's never been any issues with guns with him. And I think he said that he's never even like shot a gun. He just likes guns.
Oh, that's a lie.
Just from an
That's a
aesthetic.
lie. That's a lie.
There was,
He had to shoot a gun before. He probably was just lying.
well,
He had
maybe,
to
but
have.
I'm just saying, like, it's not even, there hasn't been issues with guns. It's not like he's done anything with a gun. Like, none of his, whatever this charge is, according to what my understanding of it is, this was way back when, so maybe I'm blanking on it, but that there was never anything that specifically happened with a gun. He just likes carrying around guns.
That don't mean nothing. I mean, if you're a convicted felon, no matter what the charge is, you can't have a gun. And
Well, no,
apparently,
I understand that, but that's what I'm just saying. So
I mean, that's why he couldn't have a gun. And I mean, he brought it on the plane with him when he was on the plane. And I mean, from what I heard, when he got arrested, he was honest about it. I think the officer or whatever got on the plane and he straight up told the officer rather than like having the officer check around to find it.
Right. No, I like Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne's a cool dude. But no, like I said, I didn't know much about that, so that's why I was asking.
Kodak Black. I forgot what he got in trouble for. It's been a while. I want to say like 2017, 2016.
I'm not even gonna lie. I completely forgot about Kodak Black.
Kodak Black is my guy. I mean, I don't like his newer music, but his music, like, what was it? Dang it, Skrilla. I love Skrilla. I don't know if you know Skrilla. If you don't, you gotta check that out. That's probably one of my favorite songs by him. My mind is running blank completely. What's the song that like blew Kodak Black up? I posted it with my it's I'm on YouTube right now. No Flocking. There we go. No Flocking. That was one of my favorite songs by him too. 6 years ago. Dang, I didn't know that came out 6 years ago. But yeah, Kodak Black, I forgot what he got in trouble for, but I just know that he been in there for some time and he been in there getting in more trouble doing stuff. But I guess he free. Donald Trump freed him.
Yeah.
I found out that his name was Bill.
Kodak Black?
Yeah, his real name is Bill.
Well.
When I found that out, I just could not stop laughing.
Okay.
I just wouldn't expect it.
All right. I mean, that's like, I know you don't care, but that's like Logic's name being like Sir.
What the? His real name is like just
Sir?
Sir?
His actual name is Sir. His full name is Sir Robert Bryson Hall III. But his first name is Sir.
But he would go by Robert, right? Or
he goes
Sir.
He would go by Bobby.
Oh.
Bobby's obviously like a nickname for Robert, but yeah, his mom named him Sir, even though like there's no like royalty obviously type thing to it. For whatever reason, she just wanted to name him Sir.
Dang. That made me
And
want
I
to look
think
up like a
I
bunch of
think and I
rappers'
think he
names.
literally he hated that. And the funny thing is that I think he literally gave his son the exact same name. I think he named his son Sir Robert Bryson Hall the fourth or third, the junior or something like that. But yeah, and that's not the only one. I can't think of everybody, but there's been a couple different rappers that I've seen their actual name and I've been like, that's an interesting name. I wouldn't have expected that to be their name.
Yeah, no, that made me want to like just look up all these rappers' real names and react to them.
All right. But yeah. Ooh, I know it's another big news thing. Philip Rivers retired yesterday.
I think so.
Yeah, I believe it was yesterday. After 17 seasons, majority of which was spent with the Chargers, basically his entire career except for this past year. But yeah, I really don't know where people stand on with Philip Rivers. I might have an unpopular opinion. I don't know. Maybe you'll have to tell me what your thoughts are on it. But I think Philip Rivers deserves to be in like the discussion of some of the best quarterbacks. I think that it's just tarnished because of the fact that he never was really able to do anything. But in my mind, I don't really blame him for that. I just don't think that he ever really had like a team around him, honestly, for like basically his entire career. I think that like tarnishes things, obviously. But I feel like if he had, like, my point is, I feel like if he had been on a better team and he actually was capable of winning a championship, I feel like he'd be like one of the top quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, numbers wise, I think. Hold on, my mic. There we go. All right, yeah, numbers wise, I think Philip Rivers was decent numbers wise. Like it's like you said, the accolades. That's what he was lacking, but I think his numbers was good enough to get him into the Hall of Fame.
Right. I mean, he had the numbers, and I think that if you are gonna like be like, okay, I can't put Philip Rivers in the top because of the fact that he was never able to really like do anything and stuff, I think that you have to account for the fact that this dude played 16 years. The only year he didn't play with the Chargers was this last year, and I don't even think that was on him. I think that was on the Chargers releasing him, if I remember right. Because they didn't want to, like, they were looking to get Justin Herbert. They were trying to move forward. So that was the only reason why that happened. I mean, this dude put up decent numbers with a subpar team, and rather than trying to like get up out of there, dude stuck strong with the team. So I feel like that also is a reason to like give him a little bit more boost to his stature as far as quarterback status, of all time, because this dude literally stuck through and through and at least had pretty decent numbers, for the fact that he was playing with a bunch of scrubs around him.
You know that I think I heard something about back when the Chargers. It was a while ago, probably 2008, 2000. Whenever the Chargers went to the conference AFC Championship game, they said he played that game with a torn ACL.
That's my point. Like, I legitimately, I'm not going to say that he's like the GOAT or even like the second or third best quarterback, but I mean, I definitely would put Philip Rivers in like my top 10.
Mm-hmm.
And probably somewhere in the middle of that. But
Or hold on. I would put him in my top 10 out of like 2000s and up. If we count all quarterbacks, he ain't in my top 10. But he not like far down. But if we count all quarterbacks, I'm putting some names over his head.
But this is my point. If let's just pretend that he won one or two Super Bowls. Do you think he'd be in your top 10?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I can literally say that about any
quarterback. Well, no, I get that, but I'm just saying. Okay. Let me put it about this way. I think he's one of the top quarterbacks that's not won stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
That's my point. So, because obviously football is a big game. It's not like basketball. I mean, obviously basketball and any other sport type thing is team oriented. I mean, there's no I in team, But I mean, football, you've got a lot of dudes out there, so like it takes a little bit more strength and overall team than, I mean, for example, like the Cleveland Cavaliers on paper weren't exactly the strongest team, but I mean, they had LeBron James and were capable of going to the NBA Finals for multiple years and winning one. Football, you can't really just have one superstar dude and get to a Super Bowl. And that's what I'm saying with Phillip Rivers. I feel like the dude was good, but he just didn't have the talent around him to really succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is where I was pausing you. So Bleacher Report put out their early picks for the NBA awards, and some of these I just think are a little bit off. So let me get to this. So we'll start with the Rookie of the Year. This one I don't think is crazy. All right, right now they've got LaMelo Ball.
I told
Right.
you. I remember we was in the snap thing, and I told you it was gonna be him. He was like, "Nah, it ain't LaMelo." After that, like first 2 games where he couldn't shoot, I'm still rocking with LaMelo. He's been balling out ever since like that first 3 weeks,
No,
and
I
I
was
knew he
worried.
was gonna win it.
I felt like he was gonna end up pulling Alonzo, but like before that whole thing went down, I really do like Lonzo. I mean Lamelo, like especially with the fact that I am a Cavs fan, but obviously I live here in the Queen City, so like I go to Hornets games. I like rooting for the Hornets, so I wanted to see them, and he's the person that I wanted to see the Hornets pick up. So yeah, it's definitely a good thing as long as he can keep it up. I mean the Hornets could have a bright future building around him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then Well, here. Oh, actually, I'll tell you. They've got the top three players. Obviously, Lamelo currently is the number one.
Yeah, I'm looking
Second
at it
one
with you.
is Tyrese Hilburton from the Sacramento Kings, and
My
then
boy Patrick Williams.
Patrick Williams from the Chicago Bulls. This is where stuff gets a little janky for me. All right, not saying that I necessarily don't see where they're coming from with it, but this is where it gets a little shaky. All right, the defensive player of the year right now is Anthony Davis. Not saying that I
Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily disagree with that, but then they got Rudy Gobert and Joel Embiid. Personally, I feel like Miles Turner deserves to be in the top three for defensive player of the year. The man's been balling out on defense. I think he's leading in blocks or rebounds or something like that, if I remember right. I'd have to look up the stats. I don't have the stats right in front of me, but there was a reason when I saw this that I was like, okay, I definitely think that Miles Turner deserves to be in that discussion. So I feel like that's where I've got a problem is I don't think that they're giving Miles Turner the credit that I think he deserves.
I would keep these three, but I would flip Joel and Rudy Gobert.
And then this is where stuff gets a little bit a little janky for me. Currently, Bleacher Report has Joel Embiid as the MVP winner.
That's what when I told you I wanted to speak about it earlier. That's what I was gonna say too. Joel Embiid has been balling out this year. I mean, I don't know if he can do it all season, but if they gave the award to the best player currently, like so far throughout this season, I probably would be rooting for Joel too because he's been balling out.
Yeah.
He's been going off.
And then they got Kevin Durant and then Jokic.
Mm, I guess. I mean, Katie, he's been looking nice, but I don't know. Um,
I'm surprised to not see
I
Steph. I
guess.
mean, maybe I'm just off. I mean, I've been so busy with so many things. That's kind of why I feel like I was kind of surprised by Joel Embiid. You're telling me that he's been balling out. I really didn't even know that he was balling out like that. So I
Yeah.
feel like that was kind of where I was. I was just seeing stuff in the news, and I kept seeing Steph and like Luca. So like I was kind of surprised when I didn't even see either one of those dudes in there. I was like, oh well, what about these dudes that I've been hearing about?
Steph. Feel like the reason they don't probably got him up here is because one, the Warriors are like 500 right now, if I'm not mistaken. All three of these, no, Nuggets. I think they've been struggling a bit beginning of the year, but the Nets and the 76ers, they I only think they got like 4 or 5 losses. They like the top of their conference, and then secondly, Steph. I mean, yeah, you will see a game. I think he may be leading the league in points or close to it, but that's mainly from that 60-point game he had. It was a few games where he shot terrible, and I guess that's what don't have him in the top three. Because if I'm not mistaken, probably a game or two ago, he only put up like 11 points.
Yeah, I feel you. Jumping back to the NFL, today the Pittsburgh Steelers signed Dwayne Haskins. I am assuming as their backup. There's been no news on Ben Roethlisberger retiring, so I'm still assuming that they're using Ben Roethlisberger for another year. He's the last remaining from the 2004 class, with Philip Rivers retiring now. So I don't think I see him going more than this next year. I think if he stays, then this will be his last year. But I guess they're trying to think towards their future. So they got Dwayne Haskins, who, I mean, I like Dwayne, but I like Dwayne from his time at Ohio State. He didn't really do much this year from the NFL standpoint, so I'm not going to show bias in that. But I don't know. Maybe stuff will connect better with him and the Steelers, but it sounds like it might be another one of those Ohio State quarterbacks that does well in college but gets nowhere in the NFL. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. The Eagles, you're an Eagles fan, aren't you?
I am.
You are. So the Eagles signed a new head coach. They signed the Colts offensive coach, Nick Sirianni. So I don't know if you know anything about that, but since you're an Eagles fan, I'll let you talk about your thoughts on that.
To be honest, I don't know much about the Nick Sirianni or whatever, the Colts offense. I didn't really pay attention to it, so it's just a new coach for me.
Right. Well, hopefully the Eagles will bounce back around. See how stuff goes.
Ever since we won that Super Bowl, we went downhill after that.
Yeah. I think I meant to talk about... So there's been a couple head coach changes so far. I'm trying to think of all of them because I don't think we talked about any type of head coach changes in the last episode. I know Urban Meyer. I don't think we talked about Urban Meyer, though. So, obviously, last week, the Jacksonville Jaguars signed ex-Ohio State head coach Urban Meyer, who stepped down from Ohio State 2 years ago. Yeah, Ryan Day's first year was last year. So, yeah, he stepped down after 2 seasons ago because he had a brain tumor, and I guess coaching was causing his head to hurt really badly, and was in a bad medical state because of all this stuff. But now he's taking over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Don't really know how I feel about that because this man apparently was having issues coaching one of the best teams in the NCAA, where he really didn't have to stress too much, and now he's taking on one of the worst teams in the league. So, screw you, Urban. I hope you collapse with a brain ulcer or something. No, I'm just kidding. No. I love you, Urban. Just kidding. But no, it is a little weird, though. I was kind of, obviously, I think that's good news. I'm happy to hear that because I guess that means that stuff has gotten better. But I don't really know. I guess maybe he's just gotten kind of tired of sitting around. Well, he wasn't even really sitting around. He took over Big Fox Noon or whatever it was, which is kind of like a college game day thing, but on Fox. I really liked him as a sportscaster type thing. He was doing a really good job with that, but I guess it's kind of cool to see him back, even though he's not in the NCAA. It'd be interesting to see him on the sidelines for the Jaguars next year. Mm-hmm. So best luck to him and the Jaguars. I guess we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's basically the big news. So I guess now we can kind of move into just a couple of the bigger games from the NBA yesterday, and maybe preview a couple games that will be happening. So obviously the big one was last night with the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Brooklyn Nets. the Brooklyn Nets. It's the first game where they had the big three: Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Kevin Durant. And they also had an additional couple of people with the refs, because the refs were definitely against the Cavaliers. I'm gonna show a little bit of bias here because there was terrible calling towards the end of the game. James Harden literally took a step without dribbling the ball, and apparently it's in the rules that they can't review that. And then there was another one where it was like tied up, and this is how it actually went into overtime. I don't know if you were watching the game. Were you watching the game?
No, I was watching bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, but it was Kyrie Irving. Yeah, Kyrie Irving was driving to the basket with like I don't know, like a couple seconds left in the like 5 seconds left in the fourth quarter, and he like elbowed Collin Sexton, and they called an offensive foul. But then they went back and they like overturned it, but it was clearly like a elbow to the face. But I guess their reasoning was that Collin Sexton was like trying to reach for the ball, so I guess they were just like, okay, we're gonna cancel these two penalties out. And if I remember right, I think they scored. I think they scored or went up by three, or they were already up by three. I can't remember exactly what it was. They were up, and Colin Sexton hit a game tying shot with like 1.7 seconds left to bring it into overtime. And then they couldn't get the job done in the first overtime, went to the second overtime, and Colin Sexton went Air Jordan mode and just could not miss. Literally, they put KD on him, Kyrie. They put everybody and their mom on this dude, and he just could not miss.
Yeah, I think I saw something like he put up like 20 straight points for the Cavs.
Yeah, he had like basically a majority of their points in overtime. So it's like I said, I'm gonna show a little bit of a bias there and say that okay, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show my bias side, and then I'm gonna try to put down the bias side and give my unbiased side. So I think that this is proof that the Cavs, the other night we were talking about the teams that we thought would slip into the playoffs. I do feel from bias and unbiased that the Cavs will get into the playoffs. They've showed out. Jared Allen looked good. They didn't even have Darius Garland last night, and they took down supposedly this big new team. So that's where the bias is. The unbiased thing is I don't see that happening again. Colin Sexton obviously is, I think, undermined. I think that people overlook him, but I also don't. I'm not trying to like act like this dude is Steph Curry or Luka and say, oh, he's going to put up 42 every single game, because that's just not going to happen. But I think that he proved that he's capable of stepping up in important times, and obviously the team wasn't even at full strength. And I don't think that you can, whether the Nets played a bad game or not, I don't think you can undermine the fact that the Nets are probably one of the better teams, and they beat them by 12 points. The main unbiased standpoint that I'm going to say on this is, yes, the Cavaliers stepped up, but that's not something that's going to happen on a regular basis. And the Nets got to be held to a higher standard. Even if it was the first game with the big three, and maybe they were having chemistry issues, but even really then, it didn't seem like they were really having just chemistry issues. I just feel like the Cavs just moved the ball really, really well and exposed their defense. They've got to step up on their defense. Their defense was atrocious.
With the Nets, that's what everybody was saying though. Like that trade, they got rid of their defense. So now James Harden, Kyrie, KD, players that's not good defenders, they got to step up and be defenders, which is most likely not going to happen.
And, I mean, I'm not disagreeing, but I'm saying that I don't feel, even as a Cavs fan, that we should have won that game. You've got three of the best players in the league, and
I mean, when you hot, you hot. It was just Collin Sexton night.
I get that, but that's what I'm saying. I'm saying from an unbiased standpoint, the Nets got to figure some stuff out, because you got three of the best people. You got to figure out your defense. The Cavs, yes, they stepped up, but we're not a championship contending team like what I feel like the Nets can be. I don't even feel like right now they've proven that they are. They've got three of the best people, but they can't be looking like that if they're trying to win a championship.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but I feel like you jump into a conclusion way too soon. I mean, this is
Well,
one
that's what
game.
I said. I said that's where I was going with that. As I said, I get that it's only been one game, so maybe there was chemistry issues, but nonetheless, and that's why I even said, okay, yes, the Cavs showed up the Nets, but I don't see Collin Sexton doing that on a regular basis. I think people overlook him, and I do believe that unbiasedly. But I am also saying that I don't think this dude is like Steph Curry or Luca. Like I'm not trying to like boost this dude up and say, oh, I've that everybody's been sleeping on Collin Sexton. He's going to be the next,
Yeah.
Curry. Like what happened? I mean, obviously Curry came into the league and everybody kind of like overlooked him, and then one day he just got really, really good. I don't know if that's necessarily what's happening with Collin Sexton, but he definitely stepped up. But
Like I said, I didn't watch the game, so I can't speak on actually like in-game stuff. But me just looking at the box score, Joe Harris shot bad. He shot 2 for 7, and I mean from the 3-point line, he shot 2 from 10 for the field. So he missed 3 shots that wasn't three. Yeah, 3 shots that wasn't threes. Anyways, though, Joe Harris gotta make those. Joe Harris is
right,
a great 3-point shooter. 2 for 7, 28% ain't good.
yeah.
Um,
I think where my disconnect was with as far as the unbiasedness of the Nets last night is yes, Colin Sexton had a good game throughout, but he stepped up specifically in that second quarter. They had two opportunities, and again, there was some selective calls made by the refs that really could have put to end the game. I mean, I think a lot of people expected with those calls that the Cavs were toasted. I was on Twitter, and everybody, not even just Cavs fans, were basically talking about how it took literally that to be the reason why the Nets won, and then a second later, Colin Sexton hit that three to bring it into overtime. And it took two overtimes, and Colin Sexton went off in the second overtime, but they had multiple opportunities to close it out. In fact, they even came back. The Cavs had a decent lead, and they actually came back, got to the point that they had a chance to win, couldn't get it done in regulation, went to an overtime, couldn't get it done in the first overtime, and then the second overtime, they just got exposed. You had three of the best players versus a Colin Sexton. I get Colin Sexton was going off, but literally, you just can't let that happen, especially when it's one dude. Even if he's going hot, that should be something that you draw something up or figure out how the heck you can keep the ball out of Colin Sexton's hands. I mean, they didn't even have people around him. It's like I said, they didn't have Darius Garland in the game. So, I mean, they weren't even at technical full strength, and they still lost. And they had multiple opportunities to be able to put it away, and they couldn't. That's an issue, even if it is the first game.
I think it was like I said, I didn't watch the game, so I don't fully know what happened. But again, me just looking at the box score, and I know
Right.
I'm not trying to be like one of those people that only watch the box score and speak on the game. But
Right.
me looking at this, I think Kyrie, James Harden, and KD put up a total of 92, all three of them combined. So my what I'm blaming is the bench. That's what I'm blaming. I'm looking at the
Oh, I
bench.
mean,
The
no, I
bench
mean,
looked
I'm
like
not, that's why I said I don't blame Kyrie. I'm saying the Nets as a team because that is what happened. I think the bench only scored like 9 or 11 points or something like that. At one point, that's literally what they said. That the Cavs they had figured out front a stat up or a graphic, I guess. I think towards the end of the fourth quarter, that showed like the Cavs bench was outscoring them like 39-9.
yeah. No, I'm looking at the bench. Like I said, Joe Harris only had 6 points. And he played 42 minutes. Sheesh. Um, Timothy Lawu, I can never pronounce his name, but he put up. What's that? Did he make a free throw? No, 0 points. Oh, he only played 12 minutes, but still, they need better bench contribution.
No, I mean I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying like they're held to this higher standard now that they've got this big three. And there's
Yeah,
been two sides since this trade. You had the side of like what we talked about the other night. They were like, "Oh, this isn't gonna work," and then the last couple of games before Kyrie came back, they were looking really good. And all of a sudden, that we even said that that was going to be kind of like that was like a hot thing. It was like, oh wow, like the narrative is going to change real quick from this team's not going to work out to being one of the most competitive teams. and then
Well,
You get Kyrie to come back. I mean, that should add. But
they
now there's all these talks that the Nets need to get rid of Kyrie now because of his performance.
that's just how analysts are. They
Well,
are
I get that. I
one
get that. I'm not
game,
saying that. I'm not saying
but
that's something they should actually do. But
they play again tomorrow, and my prediction is
that they'll blow them out.
they're about to smack them. They about
Yeah.
to smack them. It's not going to no OT. They win it by 20 plus, and Kyrie, James Harden, and KD putting up 25 plus each.
Yeah. Now, that will be a hot thing if it happens again. I'll give the Nets the benefit of the doubt and say, because it's like I said, I didn't expect them to the Cavs to win that one. So I'm gonna turn off my bias here and say they should not have won that. I mean, they should not have lost that game, but there could be issues. Now, if they do the same thing, then there's some issues within the Nets, and they got to figure that out. Like we said, Joel Embiid went off again last night. He put up 42 points in a double-double. Had 10 rebounds, 42 points. It's a pretty close game. I didn't watch it, but it appears that it was. I'm looking at the little stat thing. It seemed like it was maybe in single digits the entire game, except for maybe 1 point. I think might have gone up by 10, but
I don't
the
think
entirety of the
Jason
game was
Tatum
pretty close.
played last night. Yeah, Jason Tatum didn't play last night. Yeah, Joel Embiid went off. I was keeping up with it with my ESPN highlight stuff when they kept telling me how many points he had. The 76ers team looked real good this year. Unfortunately, I think playoff time, the Celtics gonna beat them again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just think that Celtics team is better than the 76ers, and I think, was it the last two playoffs they matched up, or last two out of the last three? Either way, I just know the Celtics beat them last year.
I want to rewind for a quick second and just see where your head stands with this. Now, again, we've already established that this is probably a one-time thing, but Jared Allen looked pretty good. Prince looked good. Sexton proved that he can step up. The other night, you talked about where you saw teams slipping in. Even if it's a little bit, does the performance that Cavaliers did last night tweak that at all and make you think that the Cavaliers have more of a chance of making the playoffs than what you thought a couple nights ago?
Other night, I think it came down to, I think I said like four teams the other night.
It was the Bulls, the Hornets,
the
Cavs, and the Hawks.
All fight. Oh, and the Raptors, all fighting for that last seed.
See, this is where I get that I'm a Cavs fan, but I truly mean this one bias based on not just the other night, but just what they've done throughout the season. Now they got Jared Allen, Torian Prince. I don't even know if the Cavs will be the 8th seed. I could see them being the 6th or 7th.
Ooh, no, I ain't saying that. Oh no, 7.
See, this is the other thing you have to also keep in mind is you're gonna have play-in games again. From my understanding,
I factored that in last time. I was counting 9 teams. All right, and let me change something I said the other night too, because I said that the Knicks was like a shoe-in for it. Let me take that back. I don't think they're like a shoe-in for the playoffs, but I think they'll also be one of those teams fighting for that last seed.
right.
So, yeah. Anyways, though, so last time I said it's like 4 teams fighting for 1 seed. I'm gonna change that to 5 teams fighting for 2 seeds, because the Knicks is not a shoe-in by no means. I don't think that, like I said, I think they will make it, but I don't think it's like guaranteed just yet. I got faith that they'll make it. Anyways, though, the Cavs, does that move them up in my opinion? No. I mean, it doesn't. I think it keeps them at the same spot. Like,
For now.
Right. I honestly don't know, but like I said, I think it's be those 5 teams fighting for it. And
so where do you stand if you had to rank those teams? Where would you put them today?
all right, so if I had to rank those 5 teams, where would I put them currently? I would put
I'm not even saying an overall standings, just from best to least.
Best to least
Out of those.
Who do I say? I said the Hornets, the Bulls, the Cavs,
Hawks, and
the Raptors, and the Knicks. I would put the Cavs probably 1. Out of all those teams, I think the Cavs are the best. Two, I would put. Who do I want to see at two? Honestly, at two, I'll put the Hawks. I'll put the Hawks at two for now. Um, three. Um, three. Who would I put at three? I would put the Raptors at three because they starting to look like they turning stuff around a bit. At four, I will put the Hornets. Five, I'll put the Knicks, and then six, I'll put the Bulls. Which kind of sounds terrible if I'm saying the Knicks gonna make it, and I got them at
Right.
five.
Right.
But currently that's how I got it.
It's very similar. I think that the only difference is my 3 and 4 seed. I would switch them.
Who was the three and four again?
You had the Raptors and then the
Raptors.
Hornets, I think. I
Oh,
put Hornets, Raptors.
my thing is it's a long season. I
No,
honestly feel like
100%. And that's what's
I
going to
feel
also be a thing is obviously different than the layout of the bubble situation. In fact, we don't even have the second half of the season laid out. All these
yeah.
postponement games will be put somewhere into that second
With
half of the
this
season.
this long season, like I said, the Raptors they started off bad, looking like they just completely dropped off. But I honestly feel like that's a team with experience. I mean,
Yeah,
they
true.
they
I
won the
mean,
finals 2 years
it's
ago.
not to say that they're this caliber, but I'm in the sense of what it reminds me of that they could be. And
Yeah,
again, I'm
so
not saying this. It's like the Spurs. The Spurs were an old team that won the championship. I'm not saying the Raptors are winning a championship, but I'm saying
I think they'll make the
experience
playoffs.
experience can go a long ways. You don't just have to be a young team.
Yeah, so I honestly think that the Raptors will make the playoffs, and I mean, if we look at the standings right now, they may be like the second to or the third to worst team. They 5-9 right now, but out of all those teams that was in that five we listed record wise, they are the worst. But I honestly feel like they'll turn it around, and I wanted to have faith in the Wizards, saying that they will be fighting for it too, but nah, I just don't think the Wizards will fight for it. Their defense just not there.
Yeah. Do you think there will be any? Because that's obviously all the Eastern Conference. Do you think there will be any unexpected teams from the Western Conference that slide in?
Um, Unexpected team. So we're looking at the top nine. Um, nope. I'm looking at it. I mean, the Thunder may be fighting for it at the last few games, but besides them, nah, I don't think the Pelicans gonna make it again this year. Um, the West is pretty like just set. Like the 9 teams that made it last year, I think those gonna be the same 9 teams.
Right.
Except for the Suns. The Suns may replace somebody who made it last year, but
I'm still thrown
uh,
off. I mean, I get that they're. Yeah, I'm a little bit thrown off by the fact that the Timberwolves are the worst team in the Western Conference.
I I mean, what's his name? Cat hasn't really played that much. I think he had COVID or he have COVID or did he come in contact with? Anyways, though, it was something with COVID, and then he fractured his hand. I think he only played like 1 or 2 games so far this season. But yeah, I kind of expected that. I was just like, I don't think the Timberwolves gonna be all hyped up like people think they're gonna be. And then the Warriors got their pick for next year, top 3 protected. So I mean, if the Timberwolves happen to be bad and get like a 4th pick, the Warriors had that 4th pick. So I know the Warriors. If that happens, the Warriors definitely won that trade even more because they have a 4th pick or a lottery pick, except for the top 3. Plus, what they gave up for old dude D'Lo.
Mm-hmm.
So I know the Warriors happy that the Timberwolves sucking right now because they sucking it up.
Was there any other games that stood out to you on Wednesday?
No, not really. I mean, there was some highlights from games that caught my eye, but not really. It was a
Yeah.
that Kings and Clippers game. It was a steal that Kawhi did on I forget his name. De'Aaron Fox. That's my guy. I don't know how I forgot his name, but nah, De'Aaron Fox was driving to the lane all fast and he wasn't out of control, but he was De'Aaron Fox is probably one of the fastest dudes in the league right now, but he was driving to the lane all fast and looking like he was about to easily put up a layup. Kawhi just came out of nowhere and just snatched the ball out of his hands like on some grown man type stuff. Like he just ripped them cleanly, and I was like, dang. But that's probably like my favorite highlight from the night. Yeah. Besides that, the games. Oh. I mean, this wasn't a big game, but it was a big highlight. What's his name? Cole Anthony, with that Magic and Timberwolves game, he had a buzzer beater 3, ran down court and just threw that thing up and beat the Magic. Beat the Timberwolves. So
there's nothing really special taking place tonight when we're recording this.
I see the Lakers and Bucks. Lakers and Bucks play.
That's the big game that'll be good. But
let's make our predictions for the games. We got to start doing that with these games for the night. No, just all of them.
All of them. I got you.
Lakers, Bucks. So I got Bucks.
I'm going with the Bucks.
I think. I mean, they two fairly matched teams, but I just think the Bucks gonna win it. I don't know.
The Bucks are, when it comes to the regular season, the Bucks stand strong, but when it just comes to the regular season, with postseason, they just can't get it done.
Yeah.
But I mean, during the regular season, I feel like it's gonna be just like it was last year. I mean, like the Bucks were tough looking last year during the regular season, but
I don't know. I think they're gonna be real good, but I don't think they're gonna be the number 1 seed this year. I feel like it's gonna be a different team. Maybe the Celtics.
I'll go with the 76ers.
I don't think the 76ers gonna do this all year. That's the thing with me. They looking good now, but I feel like it's gonna drop off eventually.
Where do you think the Nets will end up?
Nets, I think that'd be either the 2nd or 3rd seed. I think that it will be probably Celtics, Nets, Bucks, 76ers, or like I said, I can flip the Bucks and the Nets with the 2 and 3, but one of them gonna be the 2 and 3. I was about to say though, back to the games. Yeah. All right, so yeah, I got the Bucks beating the Lakers. Who you got? Jazz, Pelicans.
Jazz and Pelicans. Jazz.
Yeah, I got the Jazz too. They've been looking good this year, like low key, but nobody really been talking about them like that.
Yeah.
And then we got Warriors, Knicks. Who you got winning that?
The Warriors.
You said Warriors?
Yeah.
I think the Knicks gonna win.
Really?
Oh no, it's
you
weird.
really you just have a gut feeling, or do you really feel that way?
It's just a gut feeling.
It is, yeah.
If we talking like who is the better team, then obviously the Warriors. But I just got a feeling the Knicks gonna win this game. I don't know why. But yeah, those are our predictions. We can see who's right.
Yeah.
Anybody gonna go 3 for 3?
True. I think that was the only difference we had, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It'd be funny if like the Lakers win, Pelicans win, and
dang. Comes down to that last one. But with that said, I think that's all the stuff we got for this episode.
Yep. It's been real.
Until next time.
Till next time. Deuces.